like, share, and subscribe for more great Angry Guy content. And turn on notifications to never miss another Angry Guy video ever again. Now let's begin.
A man would rather be alone than live with a nagging wife. Ladies, the more you nag him, the less he's going to do. Ladies, your man is not your enemy. He's your partner, your comrade, your friend. Check out Proverbs 25, verse 24.
You know, guys, it's actually pretty interesting what's going on right now. Women are suddenly seeing the reality. They're seeing that men are walking away from dating, from relationships, and are happier alone, and they don't like it one bit. And now they're saying, come on, guys, we're not enemies, we're friends. Men are choosing to stay single, and women are worried. Today's video comes from Emily King. Her channel will be linked to the description of the video so that you can go and check her out. Watch to the end of the video to fully understand the implications of men choosing to stay single and how this is going to affect women going into the future. Don't forget to follow us on Rumble. Most of our content is now exclusively coming out on Rumble. So if you want to keep up with what we are doing, go and follow us over there. And our Rumble is linked in the description of the video. And now let's go ahead and jump right into the video after a message from Angry's Crypto Academy. So guys, you know the drill. You know what's going on. The economy is horrific right now. Hard times have 100% arrived. ATMs are going to stop working. Banks are going to chain the doors. You have to protect your wealth and safeguard your future with crypto. Angry's Crypto Academy offers comprehensive courses, expert investment guides, and our exclusive crypto blueprints to teach you how to buy, sell, trade, and invest in crypto. You'll learn exactly which coins have the potential to create new millionaires and how to spot the best investment opportunities. Don't miss out. Secure your financial future now. The Academy is linked in the description of the video.
Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are talking about the loneliness epidemic for men. This has been talked about a lot, especially on social media. So I want to talk about the real reasons why guys are lonely today, because we've heard a lot of opinions, especially on TikTok. And I've come across so many stitches where women are just saying that it's because it's the consequences that men are facing for treating women poorly. First of all, I don't believe this, but this demonstrates the mindset of women believing that they are a man's everything, or that they should be a man's everything. And I just think that it's interesting that a lot of women are saying that men just need to learn how to be more emotionally available and adapt and be able to be vulnerable and open up about their emotions and feelings. But I don't think it's that simple. I don't think that it falls all on men's laps as far as the resolution. So today we are going over the 5 real reasons why men are lonely and suffering in this loneliness epidemic.
The reality is that the moment that a man opens up to a woman, he shares what's going on in his life. He shares his pain, his suffering, his fears, everything. She immediately loses attraction for him. She views him as weak, and it actually will make her dislike him even more. I remember there was this man. I used to know him years ago. He was a part of the MGTOW community, and he talked about being with his girlfriend and how much he sacrificed for her. And I think he left his parents, destroyed his relationship with his parents for this woman. And I don't know if it was like Halloween or something that had happened. He was with her and something happened and he broke down into tears. And this woman who he had sacrificed everything for and given everything for, she just looked at him and said, you know, when you cry, you look so ugly. And he was blown away by that. Guys, society, women don't care about our problems. What they do, for example, what women do is like they will abandon you, and then they will check in every couple of years or sometimes many years later to see how things are going. I remember being on my, I almost did not make it, guys. I might have some, I didn't talk too much about what my health issue is, but I had a serious problem that affected my brain. And I will say this: the thing about women is this: they don't care. They genuinely don't actually care about you. They will basically, I could have passed away. I was bedridden for many years. And, I told you this woman who did not speak to me for years, she basically She abandoned me on my practically on my expiration bed, and then she decides to check in years later to see if I recovered. This is how, and says, "I love you." You what? You what? You love me? You've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. And I remember I was talking to Wally not too long ago, and he tells me something like his ex checked in on him, like after a couple of years recently, and I'm like, what? But then there was this other dude, when because I talked about this experience, where women will check in like for years later. I talked about this experience, and you had guys telling me, yeah, man, try like 10 years, try a woman checking in, 10 years later. All right, then get back to me, bro. And I'm like, what? 10 years? And then some dude posted a comment, and he was like, yeah, man, this woman who I hadn't seen since high school, since 1998, like 1998. I hadn't spoken to her since 1998, and she checked in 2024. She checks in for the first time since like 1998. 1998. So it's been over 20 years since he last heard from this woman. It was like 26 years, and she's checking in after like 26 years. He hasn't heard from her since 1998. Like, you've got mail 1998, like 56K 1998. You've got to be kidding me. You've 100% got to be kidding me. Like, TGIF, thank goodness it's Friday 1998. No, no. The real reality is that they will never love us. She will never love you. She can like things about you. She can like certain things that you have. She can like certain things that you can do for her, but she will never like you for who you are, because that's not how they work. The only thing that a woman will ever be loyal to in this life are her emotions, and that's it. And it's a sad reality that a lot of men refuse to accept until they are forced to accept it, because they then experience it for themselves. And then women wonder why men are walking away. Guys, I said this many times years ago, like 10 years ago. I said this. Women would say, the time would come where women would say, feminism got us everything that we wanted, now let's fight it together. Feminism got us everything that we wanted, now let's fight for one another. And it's sad. It's 100% sad, and it's very, very miserable what we're seeing and what we're experiencing with modern women, because modern women don't actually like us. They genuinely don't like us. They just want our toys. They just want our attention. They just want our time. They just want our money, but they don't actually want us. And now that everything is going downhill, they're like, come on, we're friends. Men and women are friends. Guys, they're basically just looking for a simp to pick up the check.
Get started, guys, please remember to like the video and please comment if you agree or disagree with any of what I say. Number one, the first point I want to make is that both genders are in this loneliness epidemic. I think it's very interesting how this has been pushed all on men. I do think that it has impacted men more, and that is because of the other reasons that we'll go through. But ladies, it's not just a problem for men. It's literally happening to both men and women.
Oh, you see, it is happening to both men and women. It's just different with women. A lot of you guys don't understand what it is. Is like, you're like, well, a woman can always find a man. Yes, they can, but they cannot find a meaningful relationship. The internet is a cesspool today, and most good men are no longer looking for a good woman online. Think about the logistics. The simp economy is moving overseas, and if a good man wants a good woman, he's more likely now to go and look overseas in a country where there are still women who have traditional values than to look for a woman in Western society. And even in Western society, it's not that there are not good women here, but for every one good woman, there are 10 good men chasing her. It's a fool's errand. Hence, men have actively walked away from dating, walked away from relationships, and are instead choosing to focus on themselves and their own happiness. More and more men are basically living the MGTOW life, even if they're not MGTOWs. And it's hard to break that cycle once you walk away, because there's one thing that's much better than physical intimacy, and that's peace. Something that most women today cannot bring to you. And a man should never allow a woman to become his peace, because once she leaves, then he won't have any peace anymore. Or if he makes her his peace, then when she starts acting up, then now he's suddenly his peace is disrupted. A lot of men don't want to accept the reality. They don't want to understand, they don't want to accept the true nature of women. And it's like the thing is, women, they have the hookup culture, and women have access to hookup culture, but a lot of women are now like, oh, I want to find a guy in society, I want to find a guy at the grocery store, because basically all of these dudes that they're finding online are just basically dudes that just want to be physically intimate, want to get quick access to physical intimacy, but they're not men of value or substance. I'm not saying it's impossible for a woman to find a good man online, but they're realizing that it's just not worth it anymore. These dating apps are just filled with players or men looking for quick hookups, or men who are not really serious about relationships and are just going to be messaging them back and forth endlessly. It's a never-ending cycle. Something that men don't understand about women is that while a woman can have many friends, they often have very few good friends. They often have very few friends that they can really count on. All right. And how can we prove this? Very simple. When a woman hits rock bottom, how many of her friends can she actually count on to let her sleep on the couch? She can't. She really can't. Women find out just how alone they really are when things go downhill, because women don't like one another. The way that men operate is we'll talk crap to each other's face, but then say good things about each other. We'll say good things about each other privately. Women will say nice things to each other's face, but talk crap behind each other's backs. It's a terrible cycle, man. And that's one of the saddest things that you have to understand. Yeah, about women, about the relationships between men and women, and relationships between women and women. One of a very interesting statistic that I always look at is the fact that when it comes to marriage, you have marriages between men and men, women and women, and men and women. Half of all marriages between men and women will end in divorce. Half of all, and it's probably a little bit higher now, but that was the last statistic. 70% of all relationships between women and women will end in divorce. So they only has a 30% success rate. So women actually have the high, and then relationships between men and men, you know, only 30% of them will end in divorce. So 70% of relationships between men and men, have a success rate that they will actually last, while a whopping 70% of all relationships, so 7 out of 10 relationships between women, will end in divorce. What is the common denominator in all of this? It's the women. Women cannot live with men, but there's one thing that women cannot do more so than that, they can't live with each other. So it's like, it's an impossible task for men, and we know that. We know this is a situation because if you look at when women are left to work amongst themselves, nothing gets done. There is no productivity, and they basically everything ends up collapsing. If you have an office where there are women, lots of women, and it's productive, the only reason why it's productive is because you undoubtedly have a bunch of men that are supporting these women, even though the women are taking full credit for everything. If you look at the hospitals, and women take credit for the hospitals, but the fact is that it's the men that work the longest shifts. It's the male doctors that work the longest shifts. Even though, so the men are working these crazy long shifts, but but yet men and women are getting paid the exact same amount of money because they're salaried employees. How crazy is this? And then you wonder why men are just so tired of relationships, and they're focusing on getting their money, they're focusing on investing, they're focusing on buying crypto, they're playing video games. Over 30 million men have dropped out of the workforce. You wonder why over 30 million men have dropped out of the workforce. It's quite simple, because society has nothing to offer them. So they'd rather stay home, chill, and spend their time in virtual worlds while building their wealth and getting their money through crypto. Do something. When the banks collapse, And trust me, it's coming. Will you be ready? Imagine waking up to ATMs that don't work, bank doors chained shut, and millions of people left with nothing. No cash, no access to their savings, and no way to survive. But it doesn't have to be that way for you. That's why I created Angry's Crypto Academy to teach you everything you need to know about crypto so you can protect yourself and your family. You'll learn how to buy, sell, and even day trade crypto for a living. Plus, we alert you to new crypto trends so you can profit before everyone else even knows what's happening. Right now, I've just published an exclusive investment guide inside the Academy, and it's linked in the description below. In it, I reveal the one coin that could make you a millionaire. A coin so revolutionary, it could change everything. If you missed out on Bitcoin and Ethereum, this is your second chance. This isn't just about financial freedom, it's about survival. When the system collapses and everyone else is selling, you'll be the one buying, prepared to weather the storm and thrive while others struggle to survive. Don't wait. This knowledge isn't optional, it's critical. The link's in the description. Go check it out now.
Reason for that takes us into number two. Reason number two is that there's been less real in person socializing ever since COVID. And the difference here that this highlights is between men and women. Women will stay in contact and just call their female friends and catch up with them. Whereas men don't typically do that. They don't reach out with a phone call and talk on the phone for 20 minutes to their best guy friend. Men will typically bond and maintain friendships by spending time together and actually doing something side by side. It's also why guys won't usually just have their guy friends over to the house to hang out unless they're like doing something, they're watching a game. Otherwise, they're leaving the house and they're going golfing or they're going biking or they're doing some project outside the house or they're fixing up a car together. Whatever it is, men are typically doing things and that is how they bond. Now, ever since COVID, there's been less opportunity for that, right? Because there had to be that social distancing. And that's when a lot of men got out of the routine of spending time together. A lot of men are also not going in person to work anymore. You know, they're working from home, which really decreases their social life. Number three is that men are going through a big transition right now from learning and living through toxic masculinity to healthy vulnerability. And this is where women can honestly give a lot more grace because women should be accepting.
Learning and moving through toxic masculinity. So, guys, I can't believe there's no such thing as toxic masculinity. That was so, guys, I can't believe she actually said that. Toxic. We're learning to move away. Let's go back and did I hear that right?
Men are going through a big transition right now from learning and living through toxic masculinity to healthy vulnerability. And this is where women
Learning and living through toxic masculinity to healthy vulnerability, basically weak men. So men are transitioning and becoming weaker, and because of and letting go of that toxic masculinity, and that's one of the reasons. And men need the support of women even more because women can provide the emotional support that men are not able to provide one another because men are now becoming more like women, so women can support men in their transition to becoming more like women. Guys, that's a load of bull. That is such a load of BS, man. Holy cow. And honestly, I can't believe Emily actually said this. Like, I am just floored that she would say this. But there you go, guys. There you guys go. This is how this is what happens when you put your faith and you believe that, if guys, there's a saying, Allow these individuals to speak for long enough and they will eventually tell on themselves. Guys, this is why men are choosing to stay single and women are worried, because at the end of the day, they don't actually like us. They don't actually want us. They're just pissed off that they're losing their servants and they want them back. Let me know your thoughts and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away. And cheers.
Nothing says you care like crypto. Nothing can compare. Nothing says you care like crypto. Oh, nothing can compare to crypto.